Hello, I'm Mohsen Jamal and you watch Afghan News. U.S. President Barack Obama Tuesday told U.S. Congress that his plan to begin withdrawing U.S. forces from Afghanistan in July remains on track, while warning that the challenge remains to make our gains durable and sustainable. In a report to Congress that measures U.S. progress in Afghanistan and Pakistan, the White House claimed modest gains on the benchmarks that it established for semi-annual review when Obama announced his decision to increase U.S. ground forces in Afghanistan in December 2009. It said that the U.S. has achieved significant progress in disrupting and dismantling the Pakistan-based leadership of Al-Qaeda, but since Pakistan lacks a strong plan to defeat Taliban militants and its security forces struggle to hold areas cleared of the Al-Qaeda-linked fighters at great cost. The report echoes testimony from U.S. military officials to Congress. Last month, U.S. Army General David Petraeus, the top U.S. and NATO commander in Afghanistan, called the Allied gains in Afghanistan are fragile and reversible at an Senate Armed Services Committee. The report also noted that progress in the U.S.-Pakistan relationship has been substantial, while acknowledging that it has been uneven. British troops killed 2 Afghan civilians in a car accident in western Kabul and shot dead a third man when local people tried to prevent them leaving the scene of the accident. A spokesman for the Kabul police chief said. Hashmat Istanekzai, spokesman for the Kabul police chief, said the shooting also wounded a child who was in the area. Meanwhile, in Balkh province, an earthquake began at 5 a.m. local time on Wednesday, and so far more than 100 houses have been damaged. The governor of Marmal district, Abu Tariq Majlisi, said that the natural disaster began in Parwaze Payan village and the gradual carving in of houses is continuing. According to the district governor, more than 100 houses have been damaged and over 300 houses are threatened. There are no casualties as the inhabitants of the house have vacated their homes, Majlisi added. NATO says it has repelled an insurgent attack against one of its bases in eastern Afghanistan, killing at least 7 militants. NATO says the attack was carried out late on Tuesday in the eastern city of Jalalabad by insurgents firing assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades. A statement from the coalition on Wednesday says that NATO forces returned fire and called in an attack helicopter, but there were no coalition casualties. There were no further details on the killed insurgents. Meanwhile, a statement released by the Defense Ministry Wednesday said that Afghan army and NATO-led forces eliminated an unspecified number of Taliban insurgents during military operations in Terogai Ganjigal area of Sarkanai of Kunar province on Monday. However, the statement did not reveal the exact number of casualties on militants, adding as many as 18 insurgents have also been detained during the operation, while 10 small weapon caches were also uncovered by the troops. According to the statement, a diminutive radio station run by anti-government opponents was also found and demolished by joint forces. Taliban militants have not yet made any comments. Russia and the United States have agreed on the conditions of a $367 million deal for the supply of Russian helicopters to Afghanistan and will sign the document soon, the Kommersant Daily reported on Wednesday, citing military officials. The United States and Russia have been in talks for over a year on the deal to provide the much-needed vehicles for the NATO mission in Afghanistan. General Abdul Wahab Wardak, Chief of Staff of the Air Force in Afghanistan, said he was informed by Americans that the contract will be signed very soon, expecting to receive 21 Mi-17 helicopters by the end of the year. He said the cost of one helicopter had been agreed at $17.5 million. The Mi-17 is an expert version of the Mi-8 HIP helicopter. NATO will support and maintain the vehicles, German Special Representative for Afghanistan and Pakistan, Michael Steiner, told the paper, but any actual future repairs will most likely be carried out by Russian engineers. Russia will also help train Afghan pilots. Forces loyal to Cote d'Ivoire's internationally recognized leader Alassane Ouattara have stormed the residence where his rival and incumbent president is holed up. Afosi Bamba, a spokesman, has said. The news came hours after Edouard Guillauard, the French Armed Forces chief, said on Wednesday Gbagbo's departure would come in a matter of hours. Earlier, Gbagbo said it was not his aim to die fighting forces loyal to Ouattara and that he has no intention to cling to power to the bitter end. The UN and France, the former colonial master with more than 1,000 troops in Côte d'Ivoire, had said Gbagbo departure was being negotiated following a fierce assault by Ouattara's forces. Alain Juppe, the French foreign minister, Wednesday said the only thing left to negotiate is the conditions of Gbagbo's departure. But Gbagbo denied he was willing to surrender and rejected demands he recognized Ouattara as the winner of last November's presidential runoff in the West African nation. NATO has vowed to protect Libya's civilian population and give priority to the besieged city of Misrata a day after rebel fighters accused the military alliance of acting too slowly. Carmen Romero, deputy spokeswoman for NATO, said on Wednesday that Misrata is our #1 priority. Alain Juppe, the French foreign minister, said he would discuss with NATO the situation in the city, where residents have been under siege from forces loyal to Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi for the last 40 days. Admiral Edouard Guillard, the head of France's armed services, said the slow pace of NATO operations was frustrating, but that protecting civilians means not firing anywhere near them. On Tuesday, Abdel Fattah Younes, the head of the Libyan opposition's armed services, said the military alliance had disappointed them by being too slow to hit targets such as pro-Gaddafi convoys that would help protect civilians. Meanwhile, Gerard Longuet, the French defense minister, said on Wednesday that Libyan rebels would now be able to supply the international pressure is mounting on Yemen's President Ali Abdullah Saleh to step down after the deaths of at least 19 people in anti-government protests in the last 2 days. Strong statements from the United States, United Nations and European Union countries came as Saleh backers clashed with protesters in the capital Sana'a, and security forces opened fire during protests in the southern city of Taiz on Tuesday. Ban Ki-moon, the UN Secretary General, told Saleh in a telephone call that he sent a small team to determine how the world body could best help quell tensions, expressing strong concerns for the dead and the injured, and urged utmost restraint from both government and opposition forces. Meanwhile, Geoff Morrell, the Pentagon press secretary, said the U.S. was calling for a negotiated transition in Yemen as quickly as possible, while Jay Carney, the White House spokesman, said in a statement that the U.S. strongly condemns the use of violence by Yemeni government forces. In London, William Hague, the British Foreign Secretary, said he was appalled by the bloodshed and condemned the indiscriminate violence of security forces, and Italy urged Sana'a to cease all forms of violence against demonstrators and to open the way for a constructive dialogue as soon as possible with those who are peacefully calling for a new season of reforms. The statements came as President Saleh urged the opposition to join talks in Saudi Arabia to try to end the unrest. The Gulf Cooperation Council invited government and opposition representatives on Monday to talks in Saudi Arabia at a date yet to be set. Engineers have stopped highly radioactive water leaking into the sea from a crippled Japanese nuclear power plant, the facility's operator said. The development of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, announced on Wednesday, is a breakthrough in the battle to contain the nuclear crisis caused by last month's earthquake and tsunami. However, the company operating the plant, Tokyo Electric Power, still needs to pump low-level contaminated water into the sea because of a lack of storage space at the facility. Meanwhile, a plan to cover damaged reactor buildings at the Fukushima nuclear plant with special sheets to hold radiation leakage cannot offer a quick remedy, as the sheeting will be installed in September at the earliest, government sources said. And that is all for now. Thanks for staying with Afghan News.